and allow them to see our walk, then they'll come to us. The next one is long-suffering, forbearing one another in love, basically putting up with one another. Now, as ministers, we should be able to do this, but as we know, just because minister is in front of our name doesn't mean that we're somehow supernatural, non-human. We're still human, amen? So we have to continue to walk in love. Ministry, as we get into it, we know that we're not here for glamour. We know that we're not here for fame or prestige. We've learned that the word minister actually means servant. So our charge is to walk worthy as a servant, to be humble enough to serve people of all walks of life, of all backgrounds. And we understand that this is serious. Our bishop came a couple weeks ago and he was telling us about how in the Old Testament, how the priest would go into the holiest of holies and they would tie ropes around his ankles. Because if he went in incorrectly, they would have to pull him out by those ropes because he would die. And we understand that ministry, that what we are called, is very serious business. It's more than life and death. It's eternity. Hangs in the balance of how we walk, if we walk worthy of our vocation, of our calling. The next verse, chapter 4, or verse 4 says, "There is one body and one Spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all." As we go out into our ministry, Matthew chapter 5, the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, tells us that we are the salt of the earth. And for those of you who know me, know I love French fries. And I love salt on my French fries. And the thing about that salt is it makes the French fries taste better.
They do.
But I don't go and say, I want some salt. I go and I want some French fries. I just want some salt on my French fries. And that salt adds taste and adds flavor to those French fries. And it's very small. And you many times don't notice it, don't see it, but it adds flavor. And we need to add flavor and add value right now to Faith Christian Center and where we are called. And we need to obey the voice of God. And those times, even we may not be in the front. We may be something small in the back, cleaning toilets, vacuuming, whatever we need to do. We need to be the salt of the earth. And we need to be adding value to anything that we put our hand up to.
That's good.
We need to stay united and stay focused. If there's one God, if there's one faith, we need to keep our eyes on that. We need to stay focused on that. As Peter walked on the water, as he kept his focus on Jesus, he walked on the water. I don't think you understand. He walked on the water. I mean, the stuff under his feet was wet. It was water. There was nothing there to support it. But he had his eyes on Jesus. And that enabled him to do that. But as soon as he took his eyes off Jesus and started looking at the storm, he sank. And too many times, we see ministers take their eyes off Jesus. We have to keep our eyes and our focus on Jesus and stay united together. Verse 7 says, "But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ." So we have grace for our gift. The Gospel according to Matthew chapter 5 also tells us that we are the light of the world. And if we're the light, then that is something where we are going to be seen. When light comes on, darkness has to leave. And if we're the light, then people are going to see us. There's going to be a time in our ministry where we're going to be up. We're not going to be in the back. We're not going to be small. But we're going to be up having other people add value to our ministry. And we know ultimately it's all to Jesus, it's not our ministry, but there's going to be a time where we have to step out and speak or do. And at those times, we must remember that Jesus said that if we've done it to the least of these, we've done it unto him. So we have to make sure that just because I'm walking down the street and and I'm not sitting in the front row on Sunday, but I come across a homeless man or someone who's hungry on the side of the road, I don't all of a sudden say, well, right now I'm not ministering. Right now I'm just Evan. So I'm going to act like I don't even see him. Our ministry is not just in these four walls. And essentially, it's really not very much in these four walls. It's what we do when we leave these four walls. So our charge is to walk worthy of servanthood. Be humble, be ready, be willing, be able to serve, and continue to press towards the mark that we've been given. Amen?
Amen. Good stuff, honey.
You may be seated. At this time, we will have our special